Hi everyone. Today I will discuss how systems theory and diversity apply to organizations by examining the Peruvian government during the current presidential elections. I will explain how governments function as organizational system, how different groups influence decision making, and why feedback, transparency, and accountability are important for effective governance. What is an organization? Before discussing about Peru, it is important to understand what an organization is. An organization is a group of people working together towards common goals through coordinated activities. Organization exists in many different ways, different forms, including businesses, corporations, universities, schools, non-profit institutions, and governments too. Although governments are often viewed differently from businesses, they share many organizational characteristics. So they have a structures, leadership, resources, objectives, and processes designed to serve the population. So this is why organizational theories can help us better understand how governments function. Systems theory suggests that organizations operate on interconnected systems. Every system has four key components: inputs, process, outputs, and feedback. Inputs are resources such as people, information, funding. These inputs go through processes where decisions are made and actions are taken. The outputs are the results produced by the organization. And finally, the feedback allows the organization to evaluate those results and make improvements. Without feedback, organizations may continue making ineffective decisions. So, uh, all of them are very important, you know. Most modern organizations are considered open systems. An open system continuously interacts with its environment. It receives information and resources from outside, adapts to changing conditions, and responds to feedback. Governments are excellent examples of open systems because they are influenced by citizens' economy, conditions, laws, public opinion, and international events. The ability to adapt is critical because environments are constantly changing. Organizations that ignore their environment often become ineffective. Diversity refers to the difference among people within in an organization or society. These differences may include culture, education, geography, economy background, political beliefs. Diversity provides important benefits because it brings a different perspective that can improve creativity and decision making. However, diversity can also create challenges such as mm, disagreements and communications barriers. Effective organization recognize both the advantages and the challenges of diversity to create systems that allow different voices to be heard. And especially in my country, diversity is a real fact. So Peru, as an organization system, Peru I mean, the citizens provide inputs through voting, taxes, opinions, and participation in society as a country. So the government receives these inputs and transforms them into policies, laws, and public services. The outputs after affect citizens directly through education, healthcare, security, infrastructure, and economy programs. So citizens provide feedback through elections, public opinion, protests, surveys, and civic participation. This continuous cycle demonstrates how Peru, as a country, operates as an open system. So, this case is about Peru, and especially in the current days, we are facing different controversies and also uh, political situation because of the elections of the new presidents too. Peru has three different powers: the executive power, legislative power, and judicial power. So the executive branch is led by the president, and the government ministries is responsible for implementing policies and managing the public administration. So legislative branch or is the Congress creates and approve the laws, and the judicial branch interprets laws and ensures justice through the court system. The separation of the powers is truly important because it creates checks and balances that prevent excessive concentration of authority. So actually, this structure support accountability and stability within the system. And uh, we are enjoying this, the benefits of this separation of these three powers. And actually, and basically, that works very good for a country and in our organization too. So inputs are very important. So actually, a presidential election provides an excellent example of a system inputs, because during the an election, so citizens express their preferences through voting. You know, Political parties present proposals and candidates. Economic concerns, public security issues, and social priorities all influence voters' decisions. Also, the affinity for the candidate, and in many cases, so the background of every candidate is truly important and very crucial for decisions. The government received these inputs and eventually produces outputs through policies and leadership decisions. So the election process therefore represents major mechanism through which a citizen influences the organizational systems. So currently, our government, our no, our country actually is divided in two portions. One who are voting for the right side, and the other who are voting for the left side. And it is very interesting because actually most of the people are supporting the left side instead of the right side, but actually uh, right parties are winning the election. So it's very interesting, you know. Um, Diversity is very important, and actually one of the most important thing that we have in Peru. Uh, Peru is extremely diverse country. The population includes people from the coast, the highlands, the Amazon region. Each region has different economic activities, cultural traditions, and political priorities. And there is also political diversity because citizens support different ideologies and parties. Additionally, millions of Peruvians living abroad continue participating in elections, and it's very interesting nowadays that mm, basically the decisions of getting a new president is in their hands, because we are counting the international votation, or the votations from people who are living out there abroad, and they are gonna define the the last um, decisions, So because of that diversity, government leaders must balance many different perspectives and interests when making decisions. So even when we have diversity, we have people who would like good changes, and who would like to change the country in a very good way. So the cancer of many of the countries in Latin America is the corruption, because the corruption is a system failure. One of the greatest challenges for any organizational system is the corruption, actually. Corruption disrupts every stage of the system, Inputs become distorted when decisions are influenced by private interests instead of the public interests or needs. Processes become less transparent and less efficient. Outputs may fail to serve citizens effectively. Feedback mechanisms may also become weakened because trust in institutions declines. For this reason, corruption is often viewed as systematic failure rather than simply an individual problem. You know, um, the power concentration risk is actually something that we are afraid of currently because for many years the right side has the majority of the power in the Congress and also allies in the presidency in the courtyard sorry in the court system, but even so they didn't do anything good for the country. So systems function best when power is balanced, actually. When authority becomes concentrated among a small group of individuals or institutions, accountability and transparency may decrease. This increases the risk of poor decisions making and obviously corruption too. The purpose of checks and balances is to prevent excessive concentration of power and ensure that decisions are reviewed from multiple perspectives. So, strong organizational systems encourage oversight, transparency, and participation. These principles help maintain public trust. You know, uh, due to this, and after telling you everything, um, what are the lessons that actually learned from that? So, several important lessons emerge actually from this analysis. The first one is that systems required feedback to improve and adapt. Second, diversity strengthens decisions making by incorporating different perspectives. So third, transparency improves trust between leaders and stakeholders. And finally, accountability prevents corruption and abuses of powers and improve organization effectiveness. So these lessons apply not only to governments but also to businesses, universities, schools, and many other different organizations. So actually, we work for everything, you see. In conclusion, systems theory provides a useful framework for understanding how government operates. So, my country, the Peruvian government, functions as an open system that receives inputs from citizens, processes information through institutions, and produces policies and services. So, diversity plays an important role in shaping expectations and decisions. By viewing Peru through the lens of organizational systems, we gain a deeper understanding of how governments respond to the needs of society. So thank you for your attention.